In the quaint town of Oakwood, nestled amidst rolling hills and lush greenery, lived a young girl named Amelia. At the tender age of 15, she found herself caught between the aftermath of her parents' separation. While her mother embarked on a journey of self-discovery with her new husband, Amelia was left to reside with her father in a rustic countryside cottage. The days passed in a routine manner, with Amelia and her father sharing the solitude of their humble abode. Yet, one fateful day, her father informed her that he would be working late into the night, leaving Amelia feeling uneasy. She reluctantly accepted this reality, knowing she had to adapt to the circumstances at hand. As the morning sun cast its golden rays upon the picturesque landscape, Amelia bid her father farewell and began her day, engaging in mundane activities that temporarily distracted her from her apprehensions. However, as dusk approached and the radiant sun began its descent beyond the horizon, Amelia's trepidation started to take hold. She meticulously secured every door and window, barricading herself from the outside world, seeking solace in the glow of the television screen. Exhaustion crept upon her, and she ascended the creaking stairs to her upstairs bedroom, desperately trying to divert her thoughts away from fear. As sleep enveloped her weary mind, Amelia drifted into a realm of vivid dreams. The nightmare manifested itself in the form of a desolate highway, bustling with speeding cars, blinding lights, and blaring horns. Amidst this chaotic symphony, she spotted her father on the other side of the road, desperately attempting to convey a message. Straining her ears to decipher his words, Amelia found herself locked in an eerie silence. Her father's mouth moved frantically, urging her not to open the door. The dream abruptly shattered as Amelia awoke to the relentless ringing of the doorbell, piercing through the silence of the night. With a pounding heart, she descended the stairs, guided by an inexplicable curiosity. Peering through the mystical peephole in the door, her eyes met a sight she had never anticipated, her father standing outside, but something was amiss. His gaze remained fixed, his eyes unblinking, and he stood motionless. "Father, have you forgotten your keys?" Amelia's trembling voice broke the stillness, but her father offered no response. She repeated her inquiry, desperate for any sign of recognition or communication, yet his silence persisted. "Father, please say something," she pleaded, her voice tinged with desperation. Alas, her words fell upon deaf ears, unanswered. A disconcerting realization washed over Amelia, leaving her feeling helpless and alone. The doorbell's persistent chime resounded through the house, refusing to cease. A mixture of trepidation and determination gripped her as she ascended the stairs, finding refuge in her room. She sat on the edge of her bed, consumed by fear, contemplating the inexplicable events that unfolded before her. Gradually, a hush settled over the house, and a newfound stillness pervaded the air. It was during this fragile moment of tranquility that Amelia mustered the courage to descend once again to the lower floor. Peering through the mystical peephole, her heart skipped a beat, her father's presence remained. With trembling hands, she turned the key in the lock, its metallic clicks resonating with her racing heartbeat. As the door swung open, Amelia's eyes beheld an unthinkable sight. Her father's head dangled from a pole, suspended eerily before the entrance. A blood-curdling scream escaped her lips, echoing through the house and beyond. In that harrowing moment, Amelia knew she would forever be haunted by this gruesome image, her life forever intertwined with the role of a tragic heroine in her own unsettling tale. As time went on, the incident became a whispered legend among the townsfolk of Oakwood. Amelia withdrew from society, consumed by her grief and haunted by the inexplicable events that shattered her existence. The doors of the cottage remained sealed, a chilling reminder of the horror that unfolded within its walls. To this day, the tale of Amelia and her spectral father serves as a cautionary tale, warning those who dare to tread near the boundaries of the unknown. And as the sun sets on Oakwood, casting long shadows across its worn streets, the echoes of Amelia's piercing scream continue to resonate, ensuring that her story will never fade into obscurity. In the depths of the night, as the clock struck 12, a chilling encounter unfolded within the confines of a small house. Sarah, a 14-year-old girl, found herself alone once again, as her parents had long separated. Her mother, who worked at a hospital with a fluctuating schedule, often left Sarah to fend for herself during extended periods of time. On this particular evening, Sarah had made plans with her friend Isabella to watch movies in the absence of her mother, who was working the evening shift from 4 p.m. until midnight. Isabella had departed around 8 p.m., as her parents preferred her not to stay out late. With Isabella's departure, Sarah prepared herself for bed, hoping to drift off into slumber. However, just as sleep was about to claim her, a faint sound resonated from downstairs. Sarah's bedroom window overlooked the backyard, granting her the ability to hear any commotion transpiring outside. Curiosity mingled with apprehension as she peered through the window, discovering a figure seated on a chair in the backyard. Sarah contemplated whether it could be Isabella, but she had left nearly half an hour prior. Perplexed, she called out to the figure, but received no response. Fear began to gnaw at Sarah's insides. This was no game her friends would play. It seemed impossible for any of them to be the mysterious figure in her backyard. Summoning her courage, Sarah decided to confront the intruder, urging them to leave. Gathering her strength, she approached the window, pleading with the unknown presence to depart from her property. To her surprise, the figure looked directly at her, their face devoid of expression. Sarah called out once more, growing more insistent this time. "Please, leave this place. This is our home." But instead of heeding her plea, the figure erupted into loud, eerie laughter. Then, with sudden intensity, they dashed towards the back door, attempting to force their way inside. Frozen in terror, Sarah could not comprehend the unfolding events. Her eyes remained fixated on the figure's relentless assault on the back door. Yet, to her immense relief, the door withstood their attempts. Frustrated, the intruder redirected their efforts toward the front door, but luck was on Sarah's side that night, as all the doors were securely locked. After a few futile attempts, the figure despaired and fled into the darkness, escaping from the scene. When her mother returned home, Sarah mustered the courage to recount the harrowing encounter. Her mother's initial anger stemmed from Sarah's failure to contact emergency services, but relief soon washed over her as she realized the potential danger her daughter had narrowly escaped. Indeed, if the intruder had successfully breached their home, Sarah might have met a grim fate. The incident left Sarah with a heightened sense of vulnerability and a newfound appreciation for her mother's concerns. From that day forward, she vowed to prioritize her safety and seek assistance whenever she found herself in similar situations. It was a chilling reminder that darkness can bring forth both the malevolent and the courageous, testing the limits of one's resilience in the face of imminent danger. I live with my family in a quiet house on the outskirts of a small forest. I live with my father and mother, and there are no neighboring houses within a 30-kilometer distance from our home. My father works as a writer and always prefers a peaceful life. They went on a vacation, but I couldn't join them due to my school schedule. The trip would take 2 days, and I had no problem with that since our house was well secured, making it nearly impossible for anyone to enter. However, on the night before my parents' return, as I sat in my room reviewing some lessons, I heard a voice calling out, resembling my mother's voice. I froze in shock and felt my blood run cold. How could this be her voice when she was supposed to be hundreds of kilometers away? I tried to listen for any other sounds, but there was only complete silence. I calmed down a bit and tried to convince myself that it might be due to exhaustion after a long day at school. I closed my book and headed downstairs to the kitchen and bathroom to take a shower and go to sleep. As I descended the stairs, when I reached the last step, I heard the same voice again. I stood frozen in my place, realizing that the voice was getting closer to the kitchen. I took shaky and slow steps towards the cupboard in front of the stairs, where my father had placed a gun for emergencies. I retrieved the gun from the cupboard slowly and moved towards the kitchen door. The door was closed with a gap. It was a very tense moment. I held the gun and aimed it forward, ready to shoot if needed. I pushed the kitchen door with the muzzle of the gun, not entering the kitchen yet, just peering inside to see if there was anyone. To my relief, there was no one inside. I entered the kitchen and tried to search for any signs of a person, but suddenly, the door slammed shut with force and effort, as if something was pushing it from the outside. I stood in silence until I heard a sound from outside through the kitchen window. I opened the window, only to be surprised. My mother was standing at the edge of the forest, smiling. It was a strange smile. Her eyes were completely black, as if empty, and her teeth shone in a blue light. I fired 3 shots at her, but none of them hit her. I'm not skilled at shooting. Then she disappeared into the forest. I couldn't sleep that night. I stayed awake until my parents arrived, and I told them what happened. We had no explanation for it, but one thing was certain: I wouldn't stay alone in the house again.